Hi folks, I'm Christiana Gaudet. I'm here with a special New Year's edition of answers to your questions about tarot. Did you do a New Year's reading this year, perhaps on New Year's Eve or on New Year's Day? If not, don't worry, you really have the first few weeks of January to accomplish this task. And there are so many ways to do a great New Year's reading. You could do one card, you could do a 12-card spread, one card for each month. There are so many different ways to do this. If you Google on it, you'll find a million different New Year spreads. And remember that you can do a New Year reading at a lot of different times in the year. It doesn't have to be the beginning of the calendar year. You could do a New Year reading on your birthday. You could do a New Year reading on Halloween, Samhain, the witch's New Year. You could do a New Year reading on Chinese New Year, on Rosh Hashanah. There are lots of times throughout the year when we mark a new year. And what better way to mark a new year than with a tarot reading? To do a divination about what's going on, what's coming up, what we can expect. What are the energies that are going to be present in our upcoming year? What are we saying goodbye to from the year before? Now, the question we have is from Amalia. And here's what she has to say. I have a question about annual readings. What could a recurring Two of Swords represent? What could a recurring Two of Swords represent, in your opinion? I've had the same card for 2013 and now for 2015 also. I feel like tarot is trying to tell me that I haven't completed the lesson yet. I was expecting a more dynamic card since last year I picked the Four of Swords, and I really do feel like I'm stuck or half asleep behind my barriers, not very open to the world. I was hoping that maybe you could offer me some insight on this. Is the Two of Swords a sign that I won't be able to break the pattern this year either? Well, that's a great question. And I love the idea of pulling one card each year and keeping track of them. Now, the fact that, you know, in 3 years we have these two cards, the Two of Swords and the Four of Swords, you're right, that's not terribly dynamic. Now, when we look at the fact that it's all about the swords for you, the first thing we're going to do is be grateful that we're seeing the 2 and 4 and not the 3 and 9. That would have been worse. But what can these things mean? Certainly, the Four of Swords is about rest and retreat and meditation. The Two of Swords can be about decisions that need to be made. The Two of Swords can also be about finding peace within. Both of these cards really speak to a deep internal journey. Now, clearly, it seems to me that over these past few years, that may have been the case for you, that you've been on this deep internal journey. But what I hear you saying is you're tired of that. You want to learn the lesson and come out into something maybe less cerebral, maybe more fiery or more emotional, more active. So what do we do about this? You know, I'd be very interested to know what your astrology looks like. Do you have a lot of air in your chart? That could be a reason that we're seeing all these swords cards. The other thing I would have to ask you is there a decision that you need to be making that you've been putting off or not dealing with over these past few years? Because if so, what you're being told is it may be time either to choose or decide that you're not going to choose and be okay with that, be at peace with that, which is, you know, so often what the Two of Swords says to me is either make a decision or be at peace with not making a decision, but don't be in a place of anxiety about it. So those might be some things for you to think about. You know, the thing that strikes me, though, with this is whenever tarot presents something that you don't understand, it is perfectly legitimate to go back to tarot to ask for a clarification. And so what I would say is you need to do a reading about your New Year's reading. And for everyone else who's watching this, any time that you get cards that you know say something but you're not sure what they say, if you want to go deeper, all you have to do is shuffle the cards and ask some questions. Now, in this case, the question I want to ask of you is, what decision do you need to make that you're putting off? But if you don't have an answer to that, go ahead, shuffle the deck and pull a card. Now, the next thing I would do in a case like this is come up with a list of questions. Questions like, what significance does the air element have in these readings? Why is the Two of Swords present for me this year? What do these 3 years have in common that causes these same and similar cards to appear? How can I shake up the energy this year? How do these cards serve me, and what can I learn from them? Often, confusing cards or cards that you hoped not to see or didn't want to see or don't prefer, these cards are an opportunity for your deeper introspection. And there's no better way to do that deeper introspection than with further tarot reading. So, everyone, if you haven't done a New Year's reading, feel free to find a spread or make up a spread, or as Amalia did, just do one card, but do a reading for the new year. Sometimes I like to do a card for the old year. What did we learn, or what are we saying goodbye to? And a card for the new year, a quick 2-card reading. Remember, too, that you can do a New Year reading at numerous times throughout the year, because January 1st isn't the only time that we celebrate a new year. And most importantly, remember that in any tarot reading, if you're not clear on why you're getting the cards you're getting, go ahead and ask tarot. Do not be stingy with the number of cards you use, nor should you be stingy with the amount of time you use to reflect, even on one card. A final important thing to consider when doing a New Year reading is nothing follows up a New Year reading better than some tarot manifestation. That's right. We can use tarot for so many things. We can use it to predict, to divine, but we can also use tarot to manifest and to create. So if you get a card in your New Year divination that you really like, you're going to want to strengthen that energy. You're going to want to spend time with the image, meditate with it, hold it in your mind, breathe it in, keep it on your altar, print out copies of the image, maybe put it on your wall, little copies carry in your wallet. This will help you manifest this energy in the new year. If you get a card you don't like so much and you want to mitigate that energy, you can turn it over or turn it upside down and work to release that energy. Likewise, if there are specific things that you would like to manifest in the new year, a new job, a new home, a new relationship, new health, whatever, go through your tarot deck and find images that carry the energy of the things that you want. Meditate with them, put them on your altar, burn some incense, light some candles, dance naked in the moonlight, do whatever you do to raise energy. And use the tarot images to bring that energy to create and manifest the year that you want. Thank you for a great question. Happy New Year to everyone. And if you have a question about tarot, please send me an email.